Hey guys, welcome to Redneck Off the Range. Today I have an exciting new update for the lake. As I'm sure a lot of you know, last year we had what I call the fish apocalypse, and it was basically we had a company install an aeration system. They turned on the aeration system while we weren't there and didn't give us any instruction, and it ended up killing probably about 90% of the fish life that we had in the lake. And in the fall, we had, they came out and they stocked a bunch of bluegill and red ear sunfish and hybrid bluegill and minnows. But I wanted to add a few species and a few different types of fish to the lake just to give it a little more variety. And so I actually, through a different company that comes out and delivers fish to the nearby farm store, I decided to buy some different fish, and what I got was 10 pounds of golden shiners, so that's roughly about 1,000 golden shiners, between 2 inches and 4 inches. In fact, I think a lot of them were like even less than 2 inches. A lot of them were like almost looked like minnows, like inch and a half or so. But there were a lot of golden shiners. Some of them were pretty big. I also got 300 yellow perch. Now, I ordered 4 to 6 inch yellow perch, although they said that they didn't really have any 6-inch yellow perch, so they all pretty much ended up being between 3 and 4 inches, which was a little disappointing because I wanted the bigger perch in order to prevent them from being eaten by whatever predators are still left. But I did end up saving about $125 by getting the smaller perch. So I don't know. We'll see. I do have quite a bit of cover that I put in the lake this year and last year, and I'm just trying to fish out as many big predators as I can. So I've taken out quite a few crappie and quite a few bass so far, but there's really no telling what all's in there. So really hoping those do well. If not, I'll probably get some more in the fall and hopefully get some bigger ones, because we are getting our predator fish in the fall too, our largemouth bass, our black crappie, and our channel catfish. And the last type of fish that I had stocked this time around was 50 albino catfish. Now, they said that they were going to be 4 to 6 inch, but really these were like between 4 inches, and there were quite a few that I would say were at least 8 inches long, if not even closer to 9 inches long. So I'm really happy about that, because that means all those bigger albino catfish, they'll do really well, and they'll probably grow to about a foot, maybe even more than a foot if we feed them. Now we do have some fish food, and we're going to try to feed them. Nothing tried to take any fish food, but it's still a little early in the year, so we'll just every weekend we'll just try to throw some out and see if anything comes up and eats it. But I do have 50 albino channel catfish in the lake now, and combined with the 100 or so channel catfish that they're going to give us, I think that's going to be a really cool thing. I really want to get some nice big monster albino catfish. I just think that'd be really cool to catch one of those someday. Even if you don't catch a lot of them, if you go out and catfish and you catch 10 catfish or whatever, or your group catches 10 catfish in a night, if one of you catches an albino, I just think that'd be really cool. So that's the goal, is to try to get some catfish, albino channel catfish, in the next few years that are nice size channel catfish, just something that's really cool to catch. And so yeah, those are all the fish that I stocked, and like I said, I put quite a few fish habitats in the lake. I made them out of 5-gallon buckets and some tubing, and I have one more that I stuck some PVC pipe in, and so I'm gonna sink that one in. But I think I got eight of those habitats in the lake right now, plus I'll throw that one in for 9. and that's quite a bit of cover. Plus, there's a lot of natural cover, a lot of trees that fell in the lake and branches. So I mean, there's lots of cover out there. So I'm hoping the perch will do well. We'll just have to see what happens there. I don't think they're big enough to spawn this year. I don't think they're going to spawn until next year, which is why I'm a little worried about their well-being. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's all the fish that I'm planning on putting in for now. I'm debating on whether or not I want to do it this fall or maybe next year or at all. But I would really like to get some walleye. I think catching walleye would be really cool, and some hybrid striped bass. Both of these species of fish are offered by this same fishery that I got all these fish from this time around. So I could potentially have some of those delivered. I wouldn't do a whole lot. I mean, probably only do like 75 walleye, 50 hybrid striped bass, or maybe even 75 of each, or maybe even just 50 of each. I don't necessarily want to have like a ton of either one of these. They probably won't reproduce, but they may. It just kind of depends on a few different things. But I think primarily, I think it would be just a little more fun, if you had primarily bass, crappie, catfish, and those are your main species that you catch, and then every once in a while you catch a walleye or a hybrid striped bass. And it's kind of the same with the bluegill. Like if you're fishing for smaller fish, you're using crickets and worms and stuff, and you want to catch smaller fish, like with my niece and nephew, catch more bluegill and red ear, and maybe the perch is a little more of a rare thing to catch. So you get like 10 bluegill and bam, oh, there's a perch. I don't know. I just think it's a lot more fun that way, I guess, when the other species are just a little more rare, but still pretty common to catch. So anyway, that is the update on the lake. The only other thing, I guess, is we're supposed to get 8 grass-eating carp. We were supposed to get them in the fall, actually, but I think they forgot to bring them, and so I think my dad is going to have them bring out the carp sometime in the near future, because we got a lot of like little lily pads and stuff starting to grow, and we need to have the carp come in and start to take care of that stuff. Otherwise it starts to take over the lake, which is why we had carp in there in the first place. And like I said before, we had like 23 carp die. There's at least one still in there. There could be more than one. I don't know. I've only ever seen one at a time. But they're supposed to give us 8, and I think 8 is just kind of a good number. And carp are just one of those fish that, you start small, and if you don't feel like they're doing a good enough job, then you just add a little bit at a time. Don't overdo it. I've heard people say, I just didn't feel like the carp were doing enough, and so I went out and bought like 150 more. I was like, well, that's a really stupid thing to do. I'll do a video all about grass-eating carp and my personal opinions on the proper way to handle having carp in your lake, but that's a totally different video. So that's all for this video. So subscribe to my channel, and until next time, be safe.